Welcome to the Niluguru podcast. In this episode, we dive into the fascinating world of clinical emotional freedom techniques and explore their potential to reduce anxiety symptoms. Join us as we discuss the science behind EFT, hear from experts in the field, and share real life success stories. Whether you are new to EFT or looking to deepen your understanding, this episode promises valuable insights and practical tips for managing anxiety. Tune in, discover the power of EFT. The episode question for today is: can clinical emotional freedom technique reduce anxiety symptoms? The evidence suggests that clinical emotional freedom techniques EFT is an effective intervention for reducing anxiety symptoms. It performs comparably to cognitive behavioral therapy CBT and shows significant improvement in both psychological and biochemical markers of stress. EFT is effective in both individual and group setting and maintains its benefit over time, making it a viable option for anxiety treatment. Here with us is Sophia. She is a transformational catalyst in the realm of personal health and well being, with a unique blend of expertise as a certified clinical EFT practitioner and a specialized in hacking reality. She guides individuals on a profound journey towards self healing and empowerment. Her approach is deeply rooted in her own transformative experience, overcoming a life threatening chronic illness, which led her from a career in public health and network engineering to the forefront of alternative healing modalities. Welcome to the show, Sophia.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the wonderful bio, but giving me the opportunity to speak to your audience. So I appreciate it. Thank you again.
You're most welcome. Let's open with what initially drew you to explore EFT as a method for reducing anxiety symptoms.
Okay, so I worked in the health field and I developed this life threatening chronic illness, and nothing was healing me for 14 years. No matter what I did, top doctors, just name it. I'd gone everywhere, I had tried everything. I studied a lot of books that pretty much said you had to change your mind, which is part of it, and change your beliefs, but I could not master my emotions. So the preface is that all disease is a lowering of frequency, and when emotions get blocked inside the body and they don't move through us, as a result, they will cause disease. And that was the case with me. There were certain traumatic memories and certain experiences that I could not process. And EFT helped me do that. And as a result, the body reflected it. And in a very short period of time compared to the 14 years that I was ill.
Let's dive deeper into that aspect. For listeners who might not be familiar, could you explain what emotional freedom technique are and how they work?
Okay, sure. So, emotional freedom technique is an energy healing modality. It's a somatic modality, and somatic means it accesses the body. And it's a combination, part of it is cognitive clinical therapy, plus tapping on the acupuncture or meridian points that we're familiar with Chinese medicine, but we don't use any needles. So we have three bodies. We have a mental, a physical, and an emotional. So EFT addresses the somatic experience, and by tapping on certain meridian points and saying certain sentences, unprocessed energy or emotions, which is energy emotion that got stuck in the body, is able to move through us and then allow the bodies to communicate better, but it also changes your state of being. So if you're very anxious, when you tap, you will end up feeling more calm. And our state of being is very crucial to healing. If you are activated and your parasympathetic system is your sympathetic system is activated, there is no room for health and repair. And that's why EFT is so effective, because you come back to the present moment, you come back to the body, and you reach a state of calmness. And the key is to activate the parasympathetic nervous system to allow the body to heal on its own. Now, we have a lot of clinical trials. There are over 300 peer-reviewed studies that had shown the effectiveness of EFT. And we have studies on anxiety. I believe, I can't remember what year it was done. It could have been 2016. That have shown the effectiveness of EFT. And there's another study that was done also later on about the effects and the results on PTSD symptoms. So we now know that EFT down regulates 6 genes for stress, and one of them is cortisol, and it reduced, I believe that was the 2019 study, it reduced, there was a 24% decrease in cortisol levels, and it's a physiological indicator for stress. And when we decrease cortisol, the body can start to enter a better state for healing. So it reduces anxiety, which is a measurable, and we can measure also the reduction in cortisol as well.
How does EFT differ from other anxiety reduction techniques like cognitive behavioral therapy or mindfulness meditation?
Okay, the findings from the clinical trials, because they were compared, EFT works faster than the traditional methods like cognitive behavioral therapy and mindfulness. And I'm going to go back that us as human beings, we have 3 bodies. So you have, I'll repeat it again, we'll have the mental, the physical, and the emotional. EFT tackles at least 2. So actually, it tackles all of them, where cognitive behavioral therapy will tackle the mental part. So if the energy is stuck in the body, it's not easy. You need way many more sessions with cognitive behavioral therapy or just therapy altogether. So to answer the question is basically it shows that it's faster and it acts as uh, our other bodies that we have that I just mentioned.
To better understand that, could you share any specific studies or clinical trials that have demonstrated the benefits of EFT for anxiety?
There's a few. So there is a 2012 Feinstein's 2012 meta-analysis. Dr. Church uh, did one in 2013. Peter Stapleton, who is very known in this research, did one, I believe, in 2017. And there were some other ones for public speaking and anxiety in 2014. And there was one that I mentioned before in 2019. So we have over 300 studies. Salas et al. Did one for PTSD with veterans. And there was one more in 2021 regarding healthcare workers during COVID, that they were having a lot of anxiety due to the working conditions. So there's numerous studies. Overall, there are roughly about 300 studies. I just gave you a few.
Let's explore a different facet of this topic. Could you walk us through a clinical EFT session? What can someone expect during their first session?
Okay, so during the first session, we're going to find out what their challenge is, what the end result, what it is that they want to achieve, break it into parts how they're going to get there, because you're not going to do it in one session, obviously. Let's say you've had anxiety for 10 years, though I have had someone who had anxiety but was younger. She got rid of her anxiety in about 10 sessions. So, and we want to see if there's a past memory or a trauma that is triggering this. So we have to put that framework first if it's a brand new client. And what they can expect is from the first session, after doing a tapping session, is more ease and happiness and an expansion in the body. So basically, they get to experience changing their state of being. And it definitely reduces their subjective feelings of anxiety, but it's also going to be measurable for them. They're going to be able to physically feel it. And of course, then they have hope for the future that they can get to where they want to go. So they will see both physiological and physical changes in their body after a first session.
Are there any specific anxiety related issues or conditions that EFT is particularly effective for?
All anxiety is EFT is highly effective on all forms of anxiety. It doesn't matter what it is. It's very good for phobias. So if you have a fear of flying or you have a fear of snakes, um, it works very fast. Or you have fear of public speaking, it may that might, depending on your situation, may take a little longer. But all anxieties, there's nothing that EFT cannot tackle. I should say, because we do deal with people who are highly traumatized. We've worked with the veterans who've been diagnosed with PTSD and anxiety disorders. It's actually very common for veterans. They're very familiar with this modality.
Another angle to consider is personal experience. Could you share a success story or case study where EFT significantly helped someone with anxiety?
Okay, so I have a client who had, I actually had two clients who had panic attacks. So one person would just get regular panic attacks. And as I mentioned earlier, within 10 sessions, the panic attacks were gone. I had another client who unfortunately had a very challenging upbringing. So she had panic and anxiety attacks driving to work on a highway because there was history of sexual abuse in a car. So she could not drive to work using the highway. After several sessions, the woman was able to go on the highway and drive to work. Her challenge was if she couldn't drive through the highway to go to work, which took her only like 20 minutes to half an hour, she would only take side streets that took her close to over an hour. And then I also had a lady with Tourette's that after 7 sessions, her Tourette's that she had had since the age of 4, so roughly for at least 35 years, was healed.
Now let's turn our attention to common misconceptions. What are some common misconceptions about EFT that you have encountered?
Most people don't believe in it. They feel it only addresses emotional issues and not physical ailments. That is not correct. It actually tackles physical, emotional, even performance challenges. Some people think it's placebo of positive thinking. All the studies that have done have shown it's not the placebo. There's some other people that may say it only works for a few, but actually what it has shown It works for everyone, but they need to do more than one session. I mean, it's something that you regularly do. Um, some clients may say it's too simple to be effective, yet the results from all the clinical trials show the opposite. A lot of people are not familiar that it's backed by science, and EFT has a growing body of scientific evidence, including research, significant reduction studies, as I said, to the cortisol levels and PTSD symptoms, and even epigenetic changes, which means changes on your genes. And we have CAT scans and other forms of data to prove it. So there's fMRIs and there are CAT scans. Some people have a belief that it's not going to work for them. EFT works regardless whether you believe it or not, because it calms the nervous system down by addressing subconscious partners regardless of the person's skepticism. EFT also, they think it's only for trauma survival. It is widely used for people with trauma, but it's equally effective for general stress and anxiety, as we said before, performance enhancement, relationships issues, and chronic pain. What I do want to be clear is EFT does not replace traditional medicine or therapy. So I would advise the person to add it as a complementary modality so they can see the effectiveness and then make their own decisions on their own. The other cool common thing that they ask, can it be done on their own? For simple stuff, the answer is yes. And but for traumatic experience, it is best to pick professional guidance because it can enhance the process of EFT, though it is designed as a self-help tool, empowering individuals to use it independently once they learn the basics. An EFT practitioner, compared to other modalities, trains the client to learn how to do it on their own. And the expectation is that they tap in between the sessions so the body can be more at ease on a regular basis. So these are some of the misconceptions, but I think I've answered most of them.
To dig a bit deeper, what key challenges do practitioners face when introducing EFT to new clients or the broader medical community?
Well, a lot of people who come to EFT have tried many other, like myself, tried many other modalities, and because of its simplicity, they thought it wasn't going to work. I think that's the most common thing that they challenge, and medical practitioners often, this is widespread, only focus on the symptom and they do not focus on the root cause. So that is a common difference in approach, but everything has a root cause in our life. So there's something that causes you the stress. The stress did not appear out of nowhere. So but I do feel the medical model is changing, and there's a lot of psychotherapists now, a lot of hypnotists or other modalities that use, even chiropractors and massage therapists are even using EFT.
Let's pivot to another interesting point. How do you see the future of EFT evolving in the field of medical health?
I think it's going to be a complementary modality that's going to be used. And there's a lot of people not just using EFT, but other alternative modalities that are actually healing from diseases that we thought were incurable. So I think there's, within the next 20 to 30 years, there's going to be a major change in our medical model. A lot of these modalities are going to come forward.
For listeners interested in trying EFT, what are some simple techniques they can start with at home?
Okay, so first they have to identify what it is that they're feeling and where it is that they're feeling. For example, I am angry. Okay, so where is the anger? The anger, let's say, is in my stomach. What is the event? I am angry uh, because I'm not getting a return phone call for this project. Okay, so the first thing when we tap, we always tap at the side of the hand, and we always start with even though I'm so angry, right? So even though, what's the emotion? What body part it is? I'm angry in my stomach because I can't get this resolved or I'm not hearing from the person back. And you add a positive statement. So we have to acknowledge what we are experiencing. I think that is the effectiveness of the emotions. If emotions are not felt and we resist them, we're going to have challenges. So EFT is basically acknowledging what it is that you're feeling. Where are you feeling it? What's the event that's causing it? And putting something positive with it. I acknowledge this is where I'm at right now, and this is what I'm feeling, or I'm open to clearing it. And we do it at the side of the hand 3 times. And as I said, we start that with even though. And then we go through the body parts, the various body parts. There are diagrams on my website. And they keep on tapping. I'm so angry in my stomach. I'm so angry. And after a few rounds, they will find out that the anger from a scale of 1 to 10, let's say it was a 9, will go down often to a 2 or a 0. And it takes less than 5 minutes to bring it down, which is pretty amazing. So this is something they can do. They can go to my website. I have a free ebook that has some tapping scripts, how to set them up, where to tap, and how to tap. So if that's what a person wants, or they could reach out to me and they can have a complimentary consultation for 20 minutes and I can guide them for what it is that they need. But there's tons of videos on EFT on YouTube to find out how to do it at home.
Is It has been a pleasure to have you share your insights with us. How can our listeners learn more about your work and connect with you to continue this valuable conversation?
Absolutely. So thank you again for hosting me on your podcast. They can come to my website, tapintourbestself.com. That's tapintourbestself.com. I offer a 20-minute consultation for free. I have an ebook. I also have various videos. I'm also trained under Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'm not sure if your audience is familiar. I'm one of his trainers. I offer a free master class on that, and I also teach his course. Change Your Mind, Create New Results. And the combination of both, you can pretty much tackle almost anything you need in your life. So they're welcome to come to my website. They can find me on Instagram, Tap Into Your Best Self. They can find me on YouTube, Tap Into Your Best Self. And I'd be happy to help anybody to guide them what modality might be best for them, whether it's EFT or anything else. So they're welcome to just go and book by themselves a 20-minute complimentary session, which usually lasts longer, and it's free.
As we conclude, what final thoughts or words of encouragement would you like to leave with our listeners as they consider the potential of EFT in reducing anxiety symptoms?
So, no matter where you are at, no matter how intense your symptoms are, it doesn't matter how bad they are. Similar to the veterans who were diagnosed with PTSD and anxiety disorders, you can have your symptoms reduced. You just need to work with someone to do that. And there's a brighter, more happier, a more calmer person on the other side. So no matter how bad it looks, I can assure you There are benefits to get to a better place. And there's many people before us, including myself, who've achieved this. And it's a very easy modality that you can take and do later on by yourself at home.
Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey into clinical emotional freedom technique and their potential to reduce anxiety symptoms. We hope this episode has provided you with valuable insights and practical tips to explore EFT further. Remember, managing anxiety is a personal journey, and EFT could be a powerful tool in your toolkit. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with others who might benefit. Stay tuned for more episodes where we continue to explore innovative approaches to mental health and well being. Until next time, take care and be well.